I'm here at the office of Harlan J. Burke, Chicago's premier dealer of ancient coins. And with their kind permission, I have this wonderful decadrachm of Alexander the Great, one of the rarest and most remarkable coins to survive in the ancient world. During his conquest of Persia, by the estimate of Frank Holt, Alexander seized something like 300,000 or 400,000 talents of gold and silver, the equivalent of perhaps 2 billion drachmae. That was more wealth than the Greeks had ever had, more than their country had ever produced in the whole of recorded history, analogous in some ways to the influx of New World silver in the 17th century in Europe, which caused the price revolution. Much of that wealth was eventually issued in the form of tetradrachms, 4-dram pieces. Almost all showed, as this one does, Hercules in the obverse, with the hide of the Nemean lion, and on the reverse, Zeus enthroned, with the legend Alexander, or King Alexander. These were trade coins, used widely across the eastern Mediterranean and well beyond, replacing in many ways the tetradrachms of Athens, which had reigned supreme in the 5th and 4th centuries BC. They were issued for a very long time and very widely, perhaps 75 mints over the course of 3 centuries, long after the conqueror himself was gone. This particular one comes from the brother of King Cassander of Macedon, perhaps a generation after Alexander's death. Now, the king himself, Alexander, appeared on some coins long after he was gone, and this is one of the more famous examples. It was issued by Lysimachus, perhaps 40 years after Alexander died. Lysimachus was one of the longest-lived Yatakoi successors who tore the great conqueror's empire apart after he passed. It shows Alexander as a sort of demigod with the horns of Zeus Ammon, his supposed divine father. Wonderful portrait. We've talked to this point about tetradrachms, 4-dram pieces, trade coins. The usual estimate is that in this period, an unskilled laborer or soldier would make about 1 drachma, 1 dram a day. So a 4-dram piece is valuable, but not inordinately so. A 10-dram piece, a decadrachm, by contrast, is worth a lot of money. They're not issued very often, and when they are, they're really display pieces, as much art or propaganda as a means of exchange. This is one of the most famous decadrachms, that of Syracuse. This particular one is by Euanytus, the one signed. The famous obverse here shows a chariot race with Nike above. On the reverse is the nymph Arethusa, framed by dolphins. They're immensely heavy coins, 42 grams, compared to, say, the 5 grams of a U.S. quarter, again communicating how these are meant to be felt, seen, as more than ordinary pieces of currency. We return now to the decadrachm of Alexander. These are quite rare. Perhaps 40 are known compared to the tens of thousands of tetradrachms that we now have. They are all found in small hoards. About 20 were discovered in 2017 at a place near Gaza, off the coast there. This one comes from a much older find, probably near Babylon in the 1970s. There was one older hoard found in the same area in the 19th century, but apparently mostly melted down. Wherever it was found, this is a plus-size version of the tetradrachm, with Hercules here in the obverse and Zeus on the back. It was almost certainly a presentation piece given by the conqueror to his soldiers and officers. It's not at all impossible that Alexander himself held this coin and gave it out to one of his generals. A wonderful piece of history. I'd like to thank Harlan J. Burke for allowing me to handle this wonderful coin, and all of you for watching.